What's going on? This is David W. Williams, also known as Diamond Dave, the founder of the highest paid part-time job in the world. And doing to shoot this really quick video out to you about what makes me different than other people that are teaching options trading. So this is going to be a really good video for somebody that may have heard some of my messaging. They may know that they have a problem. They may be dissatisfied with their relationships with their employer, the amount of time that takes, how they don't have the ability to create an income for themselves. However, they're not really convinced that what we have to offer is going to be the solution to their problem. And they may know a lot of other people right in this particular space that are offering options trading or some type of market-based training. And they may want to ask, well, why am I and why what we do at the highest paid part-time job in the world, why this is going to be the right course for them. So I'm going to go ahead and get into it. So one thing about me, right? I come out of, and I keep talking about how I come out of being the Facebook media buying space. And because of that, I bought a lot of products from a lot of different people to learn how to buy Facebook media. And one thing I noticed when I was buying their particular products, because they were info products, is that you would purchase a product, you would go through the courses, but essentially you was on your own. And they maybe would have a Facebook group based around it, or maybe some type of discus group, but primarily it was self-paced study and you were on your own. And then as time went on from you buying the course, you would have less and less interaction with the particular person that you bought the course from, because a lot of their model was scaling. So it was about building out these really big audiences of people that were course buyers, maybe having an admin over a Facebook group, but you really never dealt with that person again. And one of the things about me is I wanted to change that experience, because one of the things that I've experienced in dealing with people who, quote unquote, wanted to have a business selling info products is that they were very bullish about selling you the product, but were very bearish about fulfilling on their end as far as what they needed to be doing to facilitate learning. Now, that's going to change from person to person. Some people think, well, for you to learn, all I have to do is give you the information and then it's all on you and I don't have to essentially help you in that particular area. And that's just how they see education. And that's cool. Everybody sees education the same way, because one thing I understand is that because you know something doesn't mean, right, that you've been called to teach it. All right. And so everybody that got a testimony doesn't mean that they've been called to start a ministry. So just because you may have knowledge of a particular area does not mean that you have been called to teach about what you know. So then, because you have not been called to teach about what you know, when you get put in a teaching position, it creates a confliction inside you, because you're doing things that really don't align with your spirit. And then once that particular situation or position that you're in experience some type of stress, the fact that that's really not aligned with your spirit comes out of you. So I understand what the internet has done is to create a narrative around a lot of people that because you know something and you have access to the internet, which allows you to scale very inexpensively, the next thing for you to do is teach it, right? But not everybody that knows something has been called to teach what they know. So because of those particular experiences, I decided that, you know what, when I do what I do, my model's not going to be around just creating an info product. My model's going to be around lacing people with game. Now, what do I mean by that? What I mean is that it's my job to educate you and to get you to understand how a particular space works. It's not just to feed you information. I want you to understand it's the difference between the two. See, when you go to school, you learn information and you get indoctrinated into a particular line of thought. But the school feeds you information. They give you a book and say, hey, everything you need to know is in the book. They really don't teach you context as to how what is in the book works in your life. You understand what I'm trying to tell you? So let me tell you, so that's what most people deal with. So because so many of us go through that particular system, we think that's the appropriate way to educate people or to teach people is, hey, I have this set of information. I'm going to give it to you. And now it's your job to go through the information and then figure it out. And then I'm going to test you on it. And I noticed because when I went to college, that's all they did. In college, Pretty much every class was you buy the book, you buy the particular curriculum, they give you the syllabus, you go through the book, you take the test, you go to the next class, right? And so that's the model that most of us understand. So when I said, okay, I'm gonna create my particular program, my model was going to be lacing you with game. So what do I mean by that? My job is to get you to understand how this particular information that I'm giving you fits in your life. What's the larger context? You're right, Ladre, it's context. What's the larger context of how this information fits in your life? It gets you to where you want to go. And one of the things that we have in this world is that many people have information inside their head, but they haven't been laced with any game. So they can regurgitate information, but they don't know how to take that information and use it in real life scenarios. And so then when they get placed in real life scenarios, because their information is only from an academic standpoint, it doesn't work. You have to know how your information works in real life. So part of what I've endeavored to do is not just teach you options from an academic standpoint, because that's very easy to do. You can go on Google and learn that. Is to teach you how it actually works for you in a real life scenario. What are some of the things that you need to know in real life that are going to allow you to be successful? And that's one of the reasons why, what's going on, Katrina, why I hammer psychology so much, because I understand that one of the biggest impediments of you as an options trader is going to be psychology. So that's one of the first reasons why what makes me different as an options trader, and as what a lot of these other people are teaching, is that it's not just about information. It's about the context of the information. Me understanding that you don't just need information in a book. Like 2 + 2 is 4, 4 times 4 is 16. That's information. You need to understand, how do you take that specific information and how do you apply it to what you're trying to do to get to where you want to go? Okay, that's the first thing. The next thing is that I'm more about building relationships, right, than selling somebody a course. Because to me, the relationship is more important than the sale. And I learned this from really top line marketers, right? One of the reasons why, and we'll get into it. So if you look at like a lot of the old school retailers, look at the Macy's, the JCPenney's, the Sears, Kohl's. The reason why they're struggling in this particular area is because they were very sales driven, but not relationship driven, or what marketers like to term customer centric, right? So Macy's would sell you a product and you would never hear from them again. And Macy's mentality was that, well, our brand is so strong, we can drive you right back into Macy's. Sears or Penny's would sell you a product and you would never hear from them. Because in their mentality is that we got so much territory, we in all the malls, our brand is so strong, we can drive you back into Sears or drive you back into JCPenney's. What we're seeing now in 2020 is their lack of relationship building is one of the reasons why they are struggling in this particular area, because they never really sought to build a relationship with their customer, because they were dealing with a very large scaled out business, right? E-commerce is one of the reasons why they are successful and they struggle, but they really didn't work to build relationships with their customers. So one thing about me is, if you've done business with me, what you'll find is that I often follow up with you weeks after you bought something from me, or weeks after you graduated from the course. So many people that have gone through the highest paid part-time job in the world, a month after they've gone through all the modules, they've taken the test, I still will reach out to them for Facebook and say, hey, you got any problems about anything? Is there anything going on that you want to talk about? Because what I'm doing is I'm trying to get them to understand that the relationship is more important than the fact that you spent some money with me. I'm not selling toothpaste. I'm not selling mouthwash. I'm not selling tuna fish. I'm not selling a low tier, undifferentiated product. What makes what I do different is me, not the information I have. I want you to understand this. What makes what I have to offer different is the fact that I'm different, not my information. So the fact that I look to build relationships with people, I continue to follow up with people over and over again. And what I find with many people is that they come into the program, they graduate, they get distracted 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later, a month later. And I find out that they're doing something else. I don't get upset at them because I understand how the human mind works. But they're surprised that I'm following up with them because what they're used to people doing is selling them something. And once they get through it, they're going on to the next person because they're building a large scaled out offer. I don't care how many people I scale this out to, right? I'm going to always follow up and make sure, right, that this person understands that this is bigger than just me getting this money from you at this particular time. And then I'll move on to the next person. And a lot of people that do business with, but especially a lot of people online, that's how they make you feel. That you're just a number or a sale that you do business with. So I don't compete on, we're going to have a marketing class real quick. My points of differentiation is not, I've sold more or less than this person. This is not McDonald's where I talk about how many people I served, right? I don't talk about how much revenue I've driven through the company, right? What I talk about is the fact that I have relationships with the people that I've done business with. And they understand that just because they graduate, it doesn't mean that I'm on to the next sale and I don't deal with you anymore because I've already gotten the money out of you, so you're not worth me talking to anymore. That's what makes me different. And so you're going to see a lot of people in this particular space. They're going to have things to sell you. They're going to have quote unquote info products from you. I don't sell an info product. What I do is I lace people with game. And you're going to notice that once you get done with their particular program, that's going to be the last time they're going to talk to you unless they can sell you something different, right? If they can't sell you something else, they done talking to you because in their mind, if you're not giving me money, you're not worth my time, right? That's not how I move because I didn't come in with that impression because I've dealt with that before. And I know that's not a good way to deal with people. So let me tell you something I learned from a guy that when I say in 2014, he probably was doing about $50,000 a month in revenue, doing SEO marketing. He was one of the first people to explain to me that info products are really not that valuable. What's valuable is relationships and community. He says if you become very, very big in the product space and you don't build relationships and community, all people are going to do is they're going to just pirate or bootleg your product. Why? Because all you're selling them is a product. He says if you build a really strong community and you build really strong really strong relationships, people will buy what you have to offer because they want to be part of your community. You understand what I'm trying to tell you? They want to have the relationship. This is one of the reasons why you look at an entertainer like Beyonce. Beyonce has built really, really solid relationships with her fan base. She doesn't make her fan base feel like they're just a sell to her, which is why she can sell high tier and her fans will pay it, even though they could probably go somewhere online or on the internet and get it for free because of the relationship that she's built over time with her fan base. This is very, very important. So one thing he explained to me, David, is that one, if you want to continue to have longevity and you also want to move up to higher and higher tiers, you have to be willing to spend your time on the front end building the relationship. Because what people really want is the relationship and the community as part of the success that they're trying to get. They don't want to just be sold an info product, and they don't want to be made to feel like they're just a number to you. Okay? And they may deal with that because you may be the only particular provider in the marketplace. But once you get savvy marketers in a space, see, let me explain to you about markets. You can be first to market, right? You're selling something that is really undifferentiated. You're selling a product. You're treating your customers any kind of way because your attitude is that if they can't go to me, who else they gonna go to? But you don't have the ability to lock up the market. Once you substantiate that market, you're going to attract savvy marketers like myself. And we're going to look at your points of differentiation, and we're going to determine, well, here's where you're not going in your points of differentiation. So this is what we're going to hit on. And we're going to hit on those other points of differentiation that you're not on because it may just not be your personality to build relationships with people. Some of y'all need to be selling toothpaste and mouthwash because that's what your personality is built for. You don't need to be doing anything in which you actually got to deal with people because you don't have the personality for that. So you might have been attracted to a particular space because of the money or what you may feel like is your ideology, but you will be better served behind the scenes right? Doing something in which you don't have to deal with people and let somebody else handle that part of the particular situation. So then once savvy marketers come into the particular space, they start to realize these are the areas in which you're not hitting. We're going to attack your business on those particular areas. Why? Because that's what we do. We find inefficiencies in the marketplace. We find deficiencies in companies' marketing, and we attack their businesses at those particular areas, right? That's what we get into. And if you don't have the kind of people around you that are savvy in that particular area, you're not going to be able to deal with people like myself. And I'm nowhere near. The people that train me are real sharks, right? I'm a shark. The people that train me, they're real sharks, right? They'll come into this market. They'll suck all the marketing channels up, right? All you'll be able to do is organic marketing. You won't be able to do anything else because they'll take over every marketing channel and they will really start the marketing in this space. And I know one of the guys that taught me, he's just slowly but surely building up momentum in his marketplace. And it's going to be real rough for a lot of people once he starts to get the momentum that he's looking to get. And he doesn't even do this full time. He's just doing it just to do it because he can do it because he's really that accomplished of a marketer. So those are two of the things that make me different than the majority of people in this particular space. Is one, I'm not selling an info product. My job is to lace you with game. Two, I'm more interested in the relationship and the longevity of the situation because I understand that I can do more business with you if I build the foundation with you right on the front end and then build it up as time goes on than just trying to figure out how I can get some money with you now, don't talk to you. 6 months later, I'm putting out a new product, and now all of a sudden I want to talk to you. A lot of people do business like politicians. They only deal with you when it's time to vote. And a lot of politicians, that's how they deal with people. But it's not their fault because the people that they're dealing with, they accept that kind of treatment. So if you got any questions about the highest paid part-time job in the world, you want to know what makes me different than a lot of the other people in the particular marketplace, I've explained it to you. And if you believe that works for you and it can help you get what you desire, reach out to me. We can have a conversation. My prices are going to be going up by the end of this month. So I would get in if you don't want to get hit with the price increase and look out for the automated course that's not going to be the one-on-one that we're currently doing now. So if you want to still get the one-on-one, I would try to get in the door as fast as possible because once I build out the automated course, we're going to move the one-on-one to a higher tier because I'm going to start charging more money for my time. So everybody that came in with the first iteration of the highest paid part-time job in the world, really what you got is you got the premium experience for a discount price. So you really got 10 times the value. If you know somebody that can get value from this, share it out. If you got any questions, hit me up in the comments. This is David W. Williams. I'll talk to you later.